Hey everybody, Lily here, coming to you live from Ketchikan, Alaska. Check this out. I'm on the ship, everybody else is in town, and I didn't want to go anywhere until I talked to you guys first. It is important to me that we stay in touch even while I'm traveling. So, what I want to talk to you about today is exactly that, traveling with a food addiction. Because there are an awful lot of people on this ship who probably have an undiagnosed food addiction and obviously don't know it. And I can see it on their faces. Mostly if they're like eating with their family or something, you see them get lost in their food. Some people are just so busy arranging it on their fork and on their plate and how it's going to get into their mouth and how fast it's going to get into their mouth that they're not even looking around at their surroundings. A lot of people, a lot of women that I'm seeing here are eating alone. They're traveling alone, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But when I feel the sadness that they have, it seems so desperate sometimes that almost like a last gasp to try and find some happiness in their life, and they're trying to find it on this buffet table, and it's just not going to be there ever. And I've traveled plenty of times alone, but I know that it's different when you travel with your food addiction that's active and you travel with one that isn't. So if you can find a way to determine where you're at in your addiction, if it's alive, then it behooves you to kind of seek some help, whether you're traveling or whether you're at home, because you're just going to continue to have it suck all the joy out of your life and out of your trip. But if you're able to think about food in a different way while you're traveling, sometimes it's very useful because it can help you raise your awareness around your thinking about food. Sometimes when we're at home, we're in our routine and we have our kitchens and we have our food that we always get. We have our favorite stops and our routes, our restaurants. So we have a routine. Now, for some people, that can be a very good thing because they can be very regimented about what they eat and where they eat and how often they eat. And then things can just fall apart when they get on a trip because they're out of their routine. And then you realize that you still haven't broken your addiction. You've just managed it really well with your iron fist and your willpower. You've just got yourself into a place of routine that's very helpful to you, but it's still not the same thing as breaking your addiction. Because when you have no more addiction left, you can walk past the buffet table and you could care less. You can try a new restaurant and not be afraid that it's going to set you off on a binge. You can eat with other people and not be constantly worried about, have I had enough? Those people eat so much less than I do. Those skinny people, seem to eat so much more than I do, or whatever it is, less, more, less. The constant focus is on food and what you're eating and how much you're eating and when you're eating and should you be eating. And, you're not enjoying what's going on around you, or you are, but in between all these conversations in your mind about food. That's an active food addiction. And that's going to continue to run your life and help you or unhelp you with your satisfaction in your life. It can help you in a great way, though, because when you admit that you have an addiction like that, it's about getting real with yourself, and it's about taking stock of what's going on in your life, and it's about admitting how pervasive this problem is and how much it's affecting your sense of freedom, your sense of enjoyment and ease in your life. So I'm just talking about it today because I'm out here with a lot of people, and I recognize the behavior, I recognize the energy of food addictions, and I see it everywhere on this ship. And it's just, it's hard for me because I know that I could help. I know there is a solution, and they don't know how to find it. And so it's it's just sad because I can't help them. They don't even know sometimes that they need help, or they're definitely not actively asking for any help, even if they knew I was here. I'm on vacation. I'm not technically here to, to be working or helping. But, for you guys in my group, you've already reached out. I'm not abandoning you or anything. I'm still here. But I am reminded of how many people are not aware, are not in the group, are not getting help, are not even thinking about this. They're busy doing other things. A lot of the people that I see on this trip are reinforcing the behavior and the mindset and the activities that will keep them addicted. Worse yet, they're teaching it to their spouses and their children. So it's just a self-perpetuating cycle, and it has to stop somewhere. So I encourage you, if you're out traveling or when you travel next, to start to use that as a time to take stock. You don't necessarily have to change what you do unless you're ready to make changes, lasting changes. But if you just want to raise your awareness, think about how your food addiction affects your travel, and raise your awareness around how much your mind thinks about food, plays tapes in your head about food and eating, and how that is going to affect your vacation. So when you have a chance, watch some of the videos in the group and watch the live training. See if any of that rings true for you, because you have to diagnose yourself in a way to see if you're actually suffering from a food addiction. And if you are, just know that like any other addiction, it's not going to go away. And unlike other addictions, you actually have to eat to survive. You do need food. Whereas, a heroin addict doesn't need heroin to survive. A gambler doesn't need gambling to survive. These are patterns of thought that create powerlessness in our lives. And until you're ready to take stock of that, as well as the chemical addictions that accompany that thinking, you're going to remain addicted. And that's a choice. And until you understand that it is your choice, nothing will change. But I do want you to know that there is hope. There is life on the other side. There is life after food addictions. I'm living proof. If I can do it, you can do it. But you can't do it on your own. I mean, that's just crazy. This is one of the hardest things you'll ever do in your life. Hard in the terms of coming to grips with what it really means. Hard in terms of taking a real honest look. Hard in terms of getting real about it and admitting how serious it is. That's the hardest part. Breaking the food addiction can happen really quickly and can stay broken forevermore once you make the decision. But just like anybody, quitting cigarettes takes 2 weeks to get the nicotine out of your system. But until you make the decision to quit, I mean, it could go on for decades. So I'll leave you with that thought and remind you that traveling is a great way to wake up your routine, shake up your thinking around food, and get you looking at how this addiction is really playing out in your daily life. So I'll leave you with that thought and this another beautiful view. I want you to just take a look at me too, because I'm living proof. Look, I was at the gym yesterday. I was out at the salon. I got my hair done. I had my makeup done. I was doing fun things, feeling beautiful, feeling great, feeling free, feeling relieved, feeling alive, feeling grateful that I broke my food addiction. And all I want you guys to do is feel that same sense of relief and ease before it's too late and your life is gone. You still have time. If you're alive, you still have time to break your food addiction. All right, I'll leave you with that. I love you guys. Lily out.